What did queer scholars risk to shape queer theory? Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, ready to jump into the unknown. That's what many queer scholars did when they started shaping what we now call queer theory. They faced huge risks just for speaking their truths. Back when LGBTQ+ identities were heavily stigmatized and often illegal, openly exploring these ideas could mean social rejection or even danger. Some scholars risked their safety by challenging societal norms about gender and sexuality. They knew speaking out could lead to threats or violence, but they did it anyway. Academically, these scholars pushed against traditional ideas in fields like literature, history, philosophy, and sociology. They questioned the idea that gender and sexuality are fixed or natural. Instead, they argued these are social constructs created by society. Challenging these ideas meant risking professional backlash. They could be denied jobs, face censorship, or struggle to publish their work. Some even lost their positions because their research questioned the status quo. On a personal level, many queer theorists lived with the constant threat of discrimination. Coming out or being openly associated with queer ideas could lead to social exclusion or harassment. Some faced threats to their safety or were forced into silence. They often had to hide parts of their identity to stay safe, which made their work even more courageous. Queer theory grew from activism and critical thinking about power and identity. It questioned the idea that gender and sexuality are fixed and natural. Instead, it showed they are shaped by social norms and institutions. Thinkers like Michel Foucault, Judith Butler, Kosofsky Sedgwick, and Teresa de Lauretis played key roles. They challenged how identities are formed and how society controls or suppresses them. Their work aimed to create space for marginalized voices and push for change. Many of these scholars also recognized that identities are complex. They combined ideas about race, class, and other social factors, which added layers of understanding but also increased risks of marginalization. They knew that pushing boundaries meant risking rejection from both mainstream society and even within the queer community. For LGBTQ+ teens and young people, knowing what these scholars risked helps us see how brave they were. It reminds us that questioning societal norms can be dangerous but also necessary for progress. Queer theory gives tools to challenge unfair labels and imagine more inclusive ways of being. It encourages us to think critically about the rules society sets around gender and sexuality. In everyday life, this means questioning assumptions about what is normal or acceptable. It supports advocacy for equal rights and recognition by showing how norms are maintained and can be changed. For young people exploring their identities, understanding these risks highlights the importance of supportive spaces. It shows that challenging the status quo takes courage, but it can lead to greater acceptance and understanding.